fight these white nationalists. And so, you know, folk like Simone Sanders are thinking, well, you know, where is the next battlefield and where can I take my talents? And maybe she ends up in Georgia, maybe she ends up somewhere else. It seems that Joe Biden may think that Pete Buttigieg would be a better nominee for president, even though he said he's running for president again. But I think a lot of this has to do with people with one eye toward 2022 and 2024, regardless of who they are working for at the moment.
Mm-hmm. So where, Dr. Greg, are you getting that it seems that Joe Biden may think Pete Buttigieg is a better nominee? What's the sourcing on that?
Well, I mean, I just think if you look, I mean, I think basically it's the ability to read and write. I mean, and just observe. I mean, you see with the infrastructure deal.
I can read, I can write, I can observe. Right. I'm not thinking that President Biden. I'm not inferring that. I don't see those signs, except for the trolls and the newspaper organizations, the media, who were saying that the young white boy, the young white gay boy,
aren't you
is
the media
going
bitch?
to leapfrog over the black girl. I mean, and that's the way they're couching it, as disrespectfully as that. So I know that they're trying to send those messages, but I don't see any real signs of that in terms of the things they're responsible
Bullshit.
for. I see a vice president doing her job, and I see a secretary doing his job, and I think they're both doing their jobs well.
Well, there's reality and
he was on
perception of
maternity leave. He didn't do his job.
In politics, the latter is what controls, not the former. So regardless of how they are performing, and I'm not one who spends a lot of time sifting through social media trolls, certainly what you have said is in fact what I've observed as well, which is that the commercial white-facing media has indeed been pushing Pete Buttigieg very hard. And given that perception is reality, at least in terms of American electoral politics, I think it's probably a safe conjecture to say that Buttigieg is at least neck and neck in conversations about who could be the presumptive nominee. And as far as any of us can tell, since the current vice president hasn't been able to, didn't win the primary last time, the idea that she would win or be the presumptive nominee this time may be more rhetorical, in fact, than anything
had no
else.
chance.
So I mean, I think we're all engaged in conjecture at this point. Wouldn't you say?
No. No. I mean,
of course, Reese, the tap dancer, wouldn't agree.
7 vice presidents who ran and did not win.
Name them then.
Then became the
Name
nominee.
them.
So I don't.
7 black women.
I don't know. Well, no, we don't have another black woman to point to. So
you don't have a black woman to point to yet.
All the way, which is
let's
why
talk about
anytime
it.
This comes up, I'm going to push back because she does deserve the.
Another one bites the dust. So now Simone Sanders, she has departed ways from top cop Kamala's administration as the VP secretary. She will no longer be with them. I did a video about the tap dancing that Roland Martin did in his panel and The View. I didn't upload it yet. I will re-upload it. But they have another video with, I don't know why Roland gave Monique Presley, the woman who walked away from Bill Cosby's case, who is in trouble for like stealing money from her clients and not paying her clients back. But she's got a job on Roland Martin's show, whatever. And they just did a new segment on the issue because if this happened, you know, Simone Sanders, aka EJ, stepped down without no real explanation or anything like that. But it was interesting seeing Dr. Greg Carr, a niggocrat, and the whole panel is, and whoever this new brother is, the men made logical opinions on what they saw. Monique wasn't having it, and of course Reese, the loud foul mouth, make Angela Ryan look like an angel. This chick who's a surrogate or for Kamala, she tap danced for her. That was her job, right? They weren't feeling it either. They brought up every types of whataboutism, and she's getting this hard work. Again, I do not understand the logic of they giving her 2 hard jobs, and she can't handle it as a little old VP, but she wanted to be president. And if she was president, she would have to deal with those issues too. Don't make any sense. But anyways, so your girl Simone, to give a little backstory for those who don't remember or don't know, Simone was rocking with the Bernie Sanders crowd. She was a Bernie bro. Or she looked like one with the haircut, but she was rocking with Bernie Sanders. Stuff happened, you know. Tesla Stricker was over there. She sued. I think she got paid too. She left, and she went to go jump on Joe Biden's bandwagon, which those are ideological. Damn, I can't talk. Differences, right? Like Biden is more of a moderate, establishment type of guy. Bernie is more on the social left, even though he hasn't got anything accomplished or anything. But he's been consistent on his more socialistic policy. Healthcare, Medicare, government pays for everything. Just take money from other people and just give it to other people. Yeah, that's been his policy consistently for years. He's got nothing done in past or even close, not even his own state, that resembles that. But that's been his consistency. So it's like to jump from Bernie, which is like the war and the Democratic Party is the progressives and the establishment people, right? And she jumped ship, right? So who knows? But in the process of jumping ship, she was on a campaign trail, tap dancing hard for Biden's administration. She went on CNN. Remember the bitch ass dude who was crying because of Trump? He even pressed her, which was odd. He pressed her on the '94 crime bill, and she tap danced and did all that stuff you're supposed to do when you work for a politician, right? She did her job. And this looks stupid though, but she did her job. And then not only that, but she jumped in front of a fan, a protester, or I don't know what, but she literally put her big body self in front of Joe Biden to protect him from someone in the crowd. Man, now the sister next to her in the middle, she did the same thing for Kamala, but ironically, I listened to several people commentate on this situation before I came in here and did my little discussion on the right and on the left. All the people on the left, for the most part, tap dancing and woe is her and it don't mean nothing, it's blah blah blah. But when Trump had people leaving his administration left and right, it was on the news and on the cover every minute. Not only that, y'all criticized people for leaving, and then y'all demonized people for working there. That shit's crazy. But almost everybody I watch, even on the right, were like, yo, Simone Sanders is good, she's talented, I've argued against her debate. I'm talking about literally every person. It was kind of cringy, like y'all doing too much tap dancing for her. Like, come on. But they were all saying, like, yo, she's a colleague. We've debated on CNN and other networks, and we've, went at each other. Yet they all also acknowledged that, yo, Simone Sanders was promised to be the secretary, the press secretary. That was what she was campaigning and tap dancing and jumping in front of fans and going on CNN and lying about the '94 crime bill and whatnot. She did all that because she was promised to be press secretary by the administration and did it. He's like, yo, we already got a little black girl, little brown girl rather, Kamala. We don't need you. We got a little brown girl. So what he did was, when shit happened, he threw her down to Kamala as the VP. So you go handle that down there. Now, in my other video that I did not upload yet, which I should have, we talked about, the articles that have been coming out, like 30, 40 different people from that administration, her office, talking about the infighting and the problems and how they don't respect her and how she's not really getting that done and people aren't really doing much. They're giving her tasks that are pointless, which you can agree that giving somebody the border is not a good thing. Like, that's not a winnable, solvable thing. We've been kicking the can down on that issue for the last 50 years. Like, Republicans were talking about amnesty, Democrats, we're talking about border security, and we flip-flop back and forth since, right? Obama's aka the porter in chief. But yeah, it's a dumb task. But again, if she was gonna be president, she would have to deal with it, and all the blame would be on Joe Biden instead of some of it getting scapegoat to her. It would have all been on her or whoever she appointed that task. Or since she knows that it's a task that's not winnable, she probably wouldn't have given it to anybody. Who knows? I don't know. But again, remember, Willie Brown said Kamala should not do this. He told her she shouldn't run. I'm assuming he damn sure didn't want her, and the only point of running for VP is so you can be president. So I'm sure he didn't want her to do this either, because he's saying it's going to screw up your career. And it looks like he's right. Everybody killed that man for voicing that he was blowing her back out while he was still married, and he made her, and he got her into this business of politics in California, which now brought her to the White House as a VP. But the man wasn't wrong. He is smart. He's a political scientist. He knows how to make winners and losers in the political game. But Yeah, a lot of top people have been leaving Kamala's administration. The left don't want to address it. Now, the mainstream people want to address it, like the CNNs and MSNBCs, because they're ready to get rid of her and get somebody like Buttigieg. That's what the argument is. Like, people don't like Kamala. People didn't like Buttigieg either. At least black people don't. So clearly, Biden, the next go around, he's not looking to get the black vote again like that. Like, that's not his thing right now. He wants the LBGT and the more educated class of people. That's what the Democratic Party is turning into. They're losing the working class. They're gaining not necessarily rich people, but educated people. Ironically, that doesn't go hand in hand. But some EJ is gone. EJ left. Now there's speculation that she's leaving. She's going to help Stacey Dash. Why would you leave the fucking presidency, the White House? The White House, which is the goal of every person in her footsteps, to go work for a fucking governor that might not win. Like, you shoot and have a spot here unless you know that there's no future being with Kamala Harris, unless you hear the rumblings on the wall that they're gonna replace her with Buttigieg, the white man with the husband who took maternity leave. That's more sellable to the Democratic Party than you. You were promised to be Biden's press secretary, but they gave it to this chick that looked like Mark Zuckerberg in drag. Yeah, her. But no, maybe they felt that was better for the American people to see than you with your little part and edge up in front of the screen all day talking to the American people every day. Maybe they said that's not the image they want to sell. I don't know. But she's gone. And the nigga crats are in their feelings because they want a black woman hurt to death. Roland Martin talking about black women going not show up and this and that. He never ever talked about that leverage point of, like, he criticizes the black authorities and all these faceless white supremacy talkers all day. He criticized those people for saying we're going to use our leverage. He criticizes the Yvette Cornells and Antonio Morris who talk about utilizing your leverage to sit out an election or whatever. But now all of a sudden, because little brown girl magic, little Kamala, he's putting it in the atmosphere that, well, a couple percentages of black women won't vote. I'm like, no, they won't. The whole premise why the Democrats love black women is they'll vote against their own interests. Black women love school choice. Democrats hate it. They vote for it anyways. Come on. That's why your boy monkeyed up one in Florida. Right? Ron DeSantis. 18% of black women didn't vote for him. So there was some black women who voted in their interests and he lost. But however, 80-something% of them still voted for the guy who said we're going to get rid of school choice or charter schools in the state of Florida. He said that shit. Little booty bandit Andrew Gillum. But yeah, politics is a beautiful thing, man. It's so interesting, whatever. Watching people flip-flop, and it's just crazy. On both sides. Both sides do the same shit, but, But it's their turn right now. It's their administration, and just all the, like, I'll upload the video of The View and Roland both tap dancing and defending her and trying to make excuses for why she's unpopular. Like, some people just don't like people, right? Like, okay, sexism, racism, blah, blah, blah. But sometimes you're just a person that people just don't like. You're not likable. Hillary Clinton was one of those. Kamala's another one of those. Like, come on. Like, it is what it is. But yeah, your girl EJ is gone from the White House to go possibly. We don't know. That's just rumor. That's what they want to say, is she's going to go down there with the governor and work with, that's a football team. Stacey Abrams and Simone Sanders on the same team. Whew. Good God. But yeah, that's politics for you. I might pull a clip of the little chick from Roland doing her tap dance. And, well, Trump's administration had this, and that. And I'm like, I didn't even have to Google anything she said. 'Cause I'm like, she's talking out her ass. Yeah, Trump lost a lot of people, but he didn't lose his first press secretary within the first year. It was like after the new year it happened, right? This is deep. For a VP to lose this many people, that's not okay. It's funny too. You comparing Trump, the president, who again, enemy number one. Like, he changed the landscape of politics and media and all that. People made a lot of money off Trump being in office too. The people who claimed that they didn't like him, they put him there and made money off him while he was there criticizing him. But whatever. But to compare Trump to Kamala, like, she's a vice president. Like, if that's not a fair comparison. Like, people don't really leave the VP's office because they don't do shit. This is a coast job to just chill and make a name for yourself and say I did this, and you go up from there. But now your girl EJ is going down. She's not going up. She's going to go possibly help flip Georgia blue. And I'm saying that I don't want Georgia to be blue, but I get tired of all these niggas in the gun groups who be hating on our New York gun laws and stuff like that. So maybe I should get a taste of that too down there, and y'all can know how we feel up north. Maybe, you know. But that's my video. EJ's gone. Just watch the media, watch the news, look at the tap dancing that the Democrats are doing. Not the mainstream ones, like the Roland Martins and the lower tier. Even the bitches on The View, they was tripping in their feelings. But you can't just wish this away. Like, this ain't gonna go away. Like, it happened. Like, people are leaving her administration in droves. There are leaked conversations. Yeah, it's funny how people love all the leaks that came out of Trump's administration, but they rolling in his feelings. People got to stop complaining. People got to stop telling the business after they get fired or they leave. Blah blah blah. Like, no, like, you're a journalist. You want to hear that smoke. You want to hear that information. That's what y'all live for as journalists, right? But now, because it's top cop Kamala, now everybody gotta be quiet. Now nobody can talk about what's really going on behind the scenes. That's not how this works, Roro. It's funny because he's not here to even discuss this. I don't know. He's probably going to chime in and find a way to get into it. But he got Monique robbing her client Presley up there talking about it. And she's like, I disagree. And it's funny, it's the exchange between her and Dr. Greg Carr, because I'm like, Dr. Greg Carr is a nigga crowd too. And I'm thinking he was only as honest as he was because Roland wasn't there to cut him off and counter what he was saying. But he literally, she's like, how do you get this information? You had Kamala Harris in Air Force 2 in her plane, and Buttigieg was at the port talking about some shit. Like, that's her light. That's her moment, and she got to share it with Buttigieg. That's not like who was the transportation secretary under Trump? You don't know him, but there's no way in hell that he was going to outshine Mike Pence or get some clout over Mike Pence in his moment. Like, that's not how that works. There's a bunch of information that we can speculate that Kamala's done. I don't know who's going to replace her, but she's done. Man, they talking about she's the front runner. How's she the front runner when she didn't even get a vote in the primaries? Like, she left before the even votes happened. Like, we don't even know what she would have did. She was losing in her own state to Bernie Sanders, to Buttigieg was beating her too. Like, come on, stop it. She only got picked by Joe Biden because of dumb niggas like Charlamagne. Well, I'm not voting for Joe Biden, I'm voting for Kamala. No, you voting for both of them. But that's why she was picked. She got grabbed to pull on some of you Negroes. That was her usefulness. That's it. Same way, Obama and Hillary had a nasty, dirty campaign that we don't ever talk about. Like, it was some racial tension and the phone call at late at night. Like, it was some shit in that beef. But Obama still picked her to put her in the administration because she was more, he can watch her having her in the administration than not. She's going to come for your head if you know what I mean? Keeping her and letting her come in the administration and letting her go do her warmongering things and shit. It's better than having her out there plotting on your ass, trying to run against you in your second term, which is unprecedented. But who knows? Hillary wanted that presidency so bad. I don't know. But yeah, EJ's gone. But all the black media continues to cry and act like this is not a big deal. And it's a big deal. Again, even on Fox, go watch some of the commentary, the Five and all that stuff. They all gave some of her props. They all admitted, yeah, we go at each other, but we all know she was promised certain things when she was tap dancing and taking punches and pushes from fans or people in the crowd. And the crazy thing is, when the chick, the Mike Zuckerberg looking chick, got COVID, the chick in the middle, the lesbian who jumped in front of the bullets for Kamala, she was the one that they let be the press secretary for the couple days, that 10 or whatever 14 days that the redhead Mark Zuckerberg looking chick was out. Jen Psaki. They didn't even let Simone do that. Like, you would be like, that would have been a bone. Like, yo, you're talented, you got skills, you've been in 2 different administrations, you know the game. Like, to be with somebody like Bernie who was kicking butt and when they had some fame at the moment, and then to jump ship to go into the guy who actually beat him, like, that's a lot of information and talent in there, and they didn't even give you a whiff of it. They didn't even let you say, here, we'll let her do it for like 5 minutes. How they gave Kamala power and when she was president for like 2 days, couple 84 hours, whatever. They could have did that to Simone Sanders just to keep her happy, just to get her shut up and not leave. And within her first year, they couldn't even do that. Right, come on.
Think that this just plays well to their base. They're not proposing.
Wait a minute. So they were done talking about the Kamala
demands
getting
replaced
thing, but now she's got to bring back up.
Let me go ahead and run back real quick.
Listen to and Monique's happy that she's doing this bullshit right now.
President Biden wanted to anoint Pete Buttigieg as his successor. He would not put.
I don't know who it will be, but it looks like they don't show him.
He is 14th in the presidential line of succession, and as Monique pointed out, he did transfer his power temporarily to President.
To make people like you feel comfortable and happy that little brown girl magic didn't get the boot.
To me, that sent a shot across the bow to say,
no, it didn't.
She's my gal, and I'm sticking with her. So I don't think that it makes any sense for people to say that Biden himself is trying to prop up Pete Buttigieg by putting.
No one said that. She said the media is propping him up.
Lower than HUD and agriculture. I'm not buying that whatsoever. And as far as these reports, all of they are is they're just an almanac and encyclopedia.
The same thing that happened to Trump. A bunch of people went off the record and said stuff and leaked.
There's absolutely no reports of any policy substantive dysfunction. It's this person doesn't like that person allegedly, and this person isn't getting along. Where's the meat? Where's the substance behind any of the criticisms? I'm not talking about the pot.
We don't even see her.
I'm not talking about how she says the. I'm not talking about who don't like each other in offices. I don't get along with all my coworkers.
This is the crazy shit that she's about to do right now.
I think that there's a lot of
the two black men gave logical explanations,
and she's not being
and listen to what she says.
Of a vice president, in which Monique pointed out, the last several of them, if they have run for the nomination, they have received the nomination. Now, whether they won the presidency is a different story, but I think what we're seeing now is a years-long campaign to try to diminish the stature of the vice president by normalizing something like the Secretary of Transportation. I mean, nobody was saying Elaine Chao is going to run in 2020 or primary.
She didn't run for president at all, did she?
Really absurd. And I'm with you, Monique. I don't think that on a black platform we should be regurgitating the kinds of
and that's dangerous what she just said
on the vice president. We're supposed to be better than. I'm not.
So because it's a nigga crap platform, and because little brown Indian girl Magic, who was Indian up until she ran for president, because she's getting smoke in the media by her white liberal counterparts, CNN, MSNBC, New York Times, they're all reporting on the same information. But you're saying on a black network, you can't be honest and speculate and get, because nobody on the panel is journalists. They're all commentators, and she's a fucking spokesperson for Kamala, so which is already a conflict of interest, ironically. But you're not journalists. It's a black platform with a bunch of niggas giving their opinion on politics, and they're supposed to act like they can't see what's going on because it's a black platform. What has Kamala done? What has Kamala done to put herself on the line for black people that she would deserve that level of loyalty? What does she challenge Joe Biden on that he didn't do that he said he would do, and make it public and plain? She could do that if she wanted to. She can challenge Joe Biden and say, I want this, and that to happen, or what do we do? Joe Biden gave her civil rights stuff that can't happen unless you get rid of the filibuster. Why can't she call him on that publicly and say, Joe, we got to get rid of that? Democrats can do that. They have the power to. Crazy that the topic was over. And this is how this shows you the tap dancing that this chick is doing, which again, she's a surrogate. She's doing what she's supposed to do. But to frame it as, because this is black media, we can't do what the white media is doing. If white media is over Kamala and want to prop up booty gag, it's going to happen. There's nothing you can do about it. And you can speak to it if that's what you see happening. She don't want to do that. That's crazy. That's trash. And I want to bring up something else too, because I remember they were talking about the Rona, and they were talking about how a lot of women were talking about their cycles have been messed up since they got the stabby. And what she did in that moment too was just as disgusting and dangerous, talking about, well, women have different cycles and this and that, and it's all over the place and blah, blah, blah. Like, wait a minute. We're talking about women who never had those issues complaining that they're having these issues now. But because your ass is getting a check from Johnson & Johnson or whoever, all liberal media is getting this ad is sponsored by Pfizer. All of y'all shit should say that at the end of the video. But for you to do that, that's nasty, right? That's nasty to push back against actual articles and medical science saying like, yo, a lot of chicks is complaining that their cycles are jacked up since they got the stabby. And you can say, oh, that's just normal. Women have that all the time. No, the women who have not had that been normal for them, they're having that issue now. And you just dismissed it. Think about how many, since this is a black network, how many black women, oh, she said it's fine. Oh, she said it's cool. This is normal. I'm supposed to have fucking irregular cycles, which I shouldn't, which ironically they just did another study saying that, and they finally pointed out that the doctors are listening to women of all races when it comes to how they're telling them how they feel taking birth control. Different video, different topic. I'll get into that later. But I thought that was disgusting when she did that shit. But since you want to bring up this is a black network and we can't tell the truth and give our opinions on what we see, and again, I don't agree with neither of the brothers on the panel as far as their political ideology. They're both niggercrats, but they both were honest and said, yo, it looks away. I got eyes. I can see. I see Kamala coming back on her plane, Air Force Two, and Buttigieg's right there at the airport talking and giving a speech. That's not how that works. You don't do that. So what if he's a third or fourth cabinet member? Why is the third person, or the 14th person in succession, why is he at the airport with the VP? Crazy.
Criticizing y'all for y'all opinions, you're entitled to it, but I think we should be pushing back on the narrative, and we can have that debate, but we should be pushing back on a narrative that reduces the vice president, that all of a sudden when the black woman is in that role, the status quo is no longer the status quo. I don't think so. Come with some substantive policy disputes, which you can't, because the vice president don't actually dictate policy. She can only advocate for certain things, but she doesn't write executive actions, and she's not a senator to vote aside from casting tie-breaking votes. So last thing I'll say
she can advocate for a whole bunch of shit for black people, and she hasn't done it yet.
Wanting to diminish Vice President Kamala Harris, it's about an entire industry now that is bored and needs clicks, and obviously Vice President Kamala Harris's name is the one that keeps getting clicks because these stories are recycled and regurgitated, and ain't nothing new in there. So she had,
except for Simone just stepped down
today, pumping up the infrastructure, which was a huge accomplishment, which she was credited for. I don't hear us talking about that. We talking about Simone Sanders, a press secretary, a press assistant, which I think she's fantastic. I'm not diminishing her.
Another one, not just
However,
one.
She's
Another
not a
one.
household name. Nobody's going to the vote in 2022 and 2024.
She's not a household name.
Simone Sanders left in December.
Holy shit! Shots fired.
Whatever year we in at this point, 21. Or if she made it the whole 4 years. Nobody is really pressed about that, except for the fact that they want to make drama with Vice President Kamala Harris. And
I'm sure all the little black girl magic people were happy that she has a position in the White House. I'm positive they would have loved to see her low fade with the part in it, you know, speaking to the American people every day. I'm sure that was a big deal for a lot of women who have a future in that position that are black. But your girl just said she's not even a factor. Yet every white person I seen on Fox said, damn, she's talented, she's good at what she does. She was promised this position and she didn't get it. That's messed up. But the black woman right here, because she's tap dancing for the half Indian woman, has no problem shitting on your girl Simone Sanders. That's crazy. That's crazy, y'all. We out.
that's all I got to say. Sorry.